Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Kerbal Space Program live stream. I'm not going to be posting any links anywhere for this one. But so Amy from Vintage Space a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, posted a video about suborbital flights. Because one of the first group of ideas seemed to have been for whatever purpose you wanted to do it, for be it a weapons deliveries type system or experimentation with instruments and stuff, or cargo or human transportation, whatever your idea was, the whole crux of the issue was how to get your rocket out of the atmosphere into orbit and back down again. Now, suborbital stuff was fairly simple in comparison, because if you ever seen the movie, what's it called? Oh my God, Hidden Figures. Suborbital stuff, really simple, because you can calculate the trajectory based on the mass, the fuel, all that stuff. It's kind of a known quantity. Now, what's not known was how to get the guy back down. And so there's two parts to this. There's the getting up, there's the staying up, and then there's the coming back down again. So I'm going to start a new craft. I'm starting a new craft here with the Mark 1 capsule here. We're going to immediately go in and grab this little parachute guy here, and so we're going to name this Orbital Craft Attempt 1, and we're just going to save that. The other thing we need here is, let me see here. I need to go back up to the description. So I need the tolerance of the, so it does need a heat shield. So we're going to go into the little thermal blop here. We don't need that anymore. I think it's this one. Yeah, so that's sort of like the payload in a nutshell there. We got the parachute, the manned capsule, and the heat shield. That's what you need to take a Kerbal or human up into space and back down. You need something to house the person, something to slow the descent, and something to keep them from burning up. And then we need this thing here. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's that one. Not quite yet though, because we're missing something, aren't we? Right. So we are going to grab this one. No. We're going to grab this guy right here. And there's an issue. Just give me a second. We need another coupling thingamabob here. Okay, so this needs to be here. And then this can be here. Perfect. So that's like the retro rocket fuel pack. Now we need to actually get the actual rocket part of the retro rocket pack there. So we're just going to simply pop these on here. And this will make sure that this separates. You'll see. I don't want to go completely step by step with all of this stuff. It will be, you will understand what it's all for as I launch it. So this would have been concealed in a shroud, but on here it is not. So what we can do is we can toss that for the time being. And we can do another one of these things. So this is kind of, I think, how it worked. Yeah, another one of these, ironically enough. And then we're going to just, yeah, then we're going to just, so we got to close the fairing. Okay, so we have, this is now enclosed, and we can bring in our stack decoupler, which is this guy right here. And there we are. So now it looks all nice and clean for us. And then we're going to grab some fuel tanks here. Okay, I think this should be sufficient. And then the engines will probably grab one of these guys here. And I want to see what this can do as it is right now. So the first thing we want is for drama. So we want this thing to be kind of like right after this. Yeah, I think this is staged correctly. So I'm pretty sure this won't be able to get in orbit just because there's not enough fuel. I don't think there's enough fuel to get itself out of its own way. That means the amount of fuel for the amount of dry mass is not enough. Not enough to get the job done. That's also expressed in delta V. I don't really do delta V. My brain can't really. Oh, delta V. Like I don't. So we are going to. We need some fins, but this is just like a block one kind of thing. We're just going to see if it works. See what I mean about barely getting out of its own way? Yeah, this has a bit to go here. So let's see. I really don't. Yeah, this has very little chance of reaching. I'm not sure if it'll even reach the edge of the atmosphere, to be honest. Anyway, I think at this point we should be able to nudge this over a tad. So that red indication means that if I were to deploy the parachute right now, the parachute would burn up. It would open up and be gone. It would just vanish. Around 20. Yeah, so we're getting really low on fuel here. Okay, so we can actually cut the engine, let this glide up. It will actually get into space, out of the atmosphere, I should say. And then on the way up, we are going to use reaction wheels to get it sideways. And we want it to pause right about there. That'll set the autopilot type thing, the auto whatever, the thing that makes it stay pointed in one direction. Okay. So let's fire this up and see if it has any chance at all of making it into orbit here. Doesn't look, it looks promising though. If we had some boosters on the side, I think we would probably have it. So let's just be really super efficient. I'm not going to burn until this is within that little forward motion kind of target there. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this cannot get into orbit. However, then we're going to get rid of this. We are going to get rid of that. We are going to continue on. Normally this would just be used for yes, I am using the retro pack to slowly bring our suborbital arc further and further. Oh, I think this is, there we go. I don't really have a chance of, yeah, so what we're going to do here, normally this would be to bring it out of orbit, but since it's already doing that, we're going to use this guy to slow us down re-entering the atmosphere, which has just begun. So we're going to turn this off and let the atmospheric drag kind of point the ship. Let's get pointed first. Yeah. All right, so we should be able to, yeah, so this should sort of come on in here. So we are going to now This is not what they did with Mercury and stuff. This isn't what they did. The retro pack was simply to get the ship from an orbital trajectory to a suborbital arc. So now we are going to I'm just going to let this go. There's the moon over there. Speed this up a little bit. Now this isn't red anymore or yellow. So now we're going to pull that chute, pop the chute, whatever you want to call it, and massive G-forces, RCS off. We're going to jettison the heat shield. Now, if this was a real Mercury or whatever, I believe that there was also a balloon that inflated or something that kept the capsule pointing upwards and kept the hatch area from tilting over and the water just coming in the hatch. Now we all heard of Gus Grissom with the hatch thing. Now that was a new hatch design with explosive bolts. he got a lot of flack for that hatch and losing the capsule. He caught a lot of flack for that. It was very embarrassing for NASA. But being the consummate engineer and troubleshooting type guy, he also was beating himself up about what went wrong and changes that might go into the next version of the capsule or whatever. So we are going to revert flight to the vehicle assembly building. Oh, the drama I have to deal with. Thankfully, I don't really have to deal with it personally. This is like, yeah. Okay, so we're going to go in and do a radio attachment. This would be a mirror, and then we're on radio. You want radio because mirror will do, let's get a little bit closer to this thing. Mirror will do this. It'll put them, it'll do just what it says. It'll mirror it. Radio, it'll do it on the opposite side. So we want to stick with the radio. And we're going to put this mount point fairly far down here. And then, let's see, grab some fuel tanks. And keeping with the radial attachment, with the angle snap is enabled. Okay, so that looks kind of cool, right? I like the look of it. Let's put something semi-aerodynamic on here. Now at the bottom, for the engine, because these are totally expendable, the idea is for these to help this thing go forward. We're going to actually have slightly more powerful engines, if there are any. Probably not. Okay, no. That's going to be a tough one. Let's see for a moment here. You know what? This might be kind of cool. All right, so we should probably have this thing here, the launch stabilizer thingamabob. We should probably have that in action because these are not sitting down flat onto the ground, and this should be triggered right when the engines are. Attempt. Oops. Oh well. Overrid it by accident. Attempt 2. I can always just pull these off and do attempt 1. But so we're going to go for a launch. Here we are. Cinnamon, sugar, pita chips, and some milk. It's dessert. I had dinner a little bit ago. Ooh. Oh, it's really far off the ground. And boy. 3, 2, 1. There we, wow, this is already much faster. Now, I'll say something here. These engines, I don't think they consume nearly as much fuel. Fuel flow 13. Fuel flow 10. So it might, pardon me, might end up evening out. I don't know. So we need to really start. See, this is red now. That means this parachute, if it was to be used, it would burn up and become unusable. So we have a pretty good altitude going on here. So it turns out these boosters are not really boosters. They're just kind of along for the ride, apparently. Let's twist this on around here. Bring it down here. Bring it down again. Okay, so we are going to transfer the fuel we're going to transfer the fuel, okay, and we're going to transfer the fuel, okay, and we are going to jettison this. We're coming up on the AP here. This is actually going to be slightly confusing, so I will leave it like this for now. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's just... Okay, we're going to really have to just... Yeah, we're just going to let this burn all... Okay. Okay. Now this should have enough oomph to get it into orbit. Just by enough. And that's what we want. We need just enough for in orbit. Come on. Oh, where did it stop? How much of it, how short are we? Oh my gosh. Not, well, actually. Okay, so this is done. This is done. So we can actually possibly recover this whole situation here. It is possible because we're still close enough to the... Yes! Now we need to get this... Now this has to be above 70 by the time we get a bit further around. We have plenty of monoprop left. So now we have succeeded, although a little bit on the cheaty side, we have succeeded in getting into orbit. Good stuff. And the downside is now we have I'm going to wait until we go around one more time. I would like to do one orbit of Kerbin. But I'm going to bring my orbit down to an arc. So the far side of the arc where my trajectory is heading, I want to bring my heading down into the daylit side because I want to be able to see what the heck I'm doing. And there we go, one full orbit, just about. We have officially one orbit in the books there, and the ability to head back down. So we are going to take this out of time warp right about here. Yeah, okay. Almost went too far. Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ooh. This one is the lower one, but it's also, yeah, let's just get this under 100. Okay, then we're going to time warp over here, I think. And this will, I want to try to, it's like a little bit eccentric, so I'm going to circularize it a little bit and then bring it all the way down. Using a little bit more monoprop. However, I think it's probably the more efficient way to do it. Okay, let's put this over there. We can use up all of the monoprop because we are not going to need it once we are officially deorbiting this thing. I want to bring, yeah, I want to bring this as far into the daytime as possible. This thing right here, I want to bring this as far into the daytime as possible. Okay, so we're just going to eat up all of this monoprop because honestly, we don't need any of it once we're in the atmosphere. And we will be there fairly soon. Look at that! I'm gonna bring it down right outside. Oh man! Let's overshoot a little. Aim to overshoot slightly. And we what is this? There is an actual Kerbal right there. Okay. So we are good to jettison this. And now we are going to check the deorbit path. Yep, didn't really affect anything. So now we're just gonna take that off. We don't need that because we don't have any monoprop using parts anymore. Okay, let's see if we can't get back over to the space. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna quite make it, unfortunately. I should have tried to overshoot just a little bit further, like out in this area here. That's oh, I'm gonna come down in the mountains. No. Look, there's no autopilot anything. This thing's doing its job. Well, I'm not going to land in the mountains. I will fly something over here to recover lemony Kerman. It looks more like a lime Kerman, huh? So at this point, we're just gliding back, and we can actually get rid of the heat shield. I'm just going to twist and jiggle this off real quick. There we go. Heat shield can go off in its own. See, now I can use my there's the KSC over. What is that? Porpoise? Oh, the Porpoise actually landed on this side of the mountains. On the other side of those mountains is the Kerbal Space Center. So at about 3,000 meters, we will pop the chutes. And get ready for chute deployment. Oh my God. All right, so yeah, so we got into orbit, a little bit cheaty, but we got into orbit, and we are coming back down now. We should do like a crew report, yeah. Let's keep that experiment. At this point, we could actually EVA. Okay. Let's go on back in here. If the astronauts actually did that on a mission. Hey guys, I'm coming down. The cannonball. And there we go. Perfect touchdown. Let's do an EVA and plant the flag. Got a little bit froze up there for a second. Okay, so we're going to plant the flag. So it's like orbital. That's just slicing into the capsule. Oh, there we go. Woo! Okay. So now we are going to go over here and board the vessel again. And we are going to recover vessel. So the 3 key elements now, we did getting up, staying up, and coming back down. The big problem with coming back down is sometimes you need to leave stuff up there, be it fuel or parts of your craft or whatever. Now, my question for Amy at Vintage Space channel, YouTube channel, is what manned spacecraft had to leave stuff in orbit in order to return to Earth? Have there ever been craft that are like that? And what was the name, and what was the timeline, the date that was developed or used or conceptualized? So anyway, that is it for now, I think. I'm going to crunch on some more pita chips here. But yes, Amy, I enjoy your channel. Thank you for seeing this, if you see it. If not, then keep on making the great content. I love your channel. And fly safe, as Scott LeManley would say. Bye.